Psychologists say when people form an opinion about someone, they always look for information to support that belief. Is a tendency known as confirmation bias. So, people would often interpret a new information through the lens of the story they already know or a picture they have already created in their minds. So, overly explaining yourself, calmly explaining yourself, honestly explaining yourself, rigorously explaining yourself would not change a thing. Not because you have poorly explained yourself, but because their interpretation is already shaped by a process psychologists call motivated reasoning. Motivated reasoning is a tendency for people to process information in a way that aligns with their beliefs, emotions, and identity. Oftentimes, people would unconsciously favor interpretations that allows them maintain their original view and perception of you. This is why overly explaining yourself to people is emotionally draining. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain situations, there are times, and certain people who actually deserve or require some level of explanations from us. But before we go about explaining ourselves, we have to be sure that we're explaining ourselves to the right people. We have to be sure that we are not just wasting our time, our energy, draining ourselves, explaining ourselves to people who are already bent on misinterpreting or misunderstanding us. So we always have to ask ourselves some very valid questions. Is this person worth this explanation? Why do I feel the urge or the need to explain myself to this person? What is going to be the outcome of explaining myself to this person? Does this person deserve this access to so much information about me? Am I explaining this for validation, or am I actually explaining to get something positive out of it? We have to ask ourselves these valid questions to protect ourselves, because to be honest, based on my personal experience and the little I know about psychology, over explaining yourself can drain the life out of you. And remember, anyone who is willing to understand you, listen to understand, would ask questions and would always create room for context.